So without spending much time, I will request Mr. Surendra Agarwal to introduce the speaker and give him the opportunity to start his presentation.
Thank you, Vilas. And good morning, friends. And it's nice of all the people who have joined today on a Saturday morning. And it is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Dr. Aniruddha Joshi, who happens to be a fellow IITian. I am from IIT Delhi and he is from IIT Bombay. So IITians always go together. Jodi, as we say. Okay. Um, Dr. Aniruddha Joshi is PhD from IIT Bombay and founder and CEO Atria Innovations Private Limited. He is a founder with a vision of providing most personal, predictive, and non-invasive health monitor based on data science-driven Ayurveda. I mean, data science is the talk of the town. Everybody is talking about AI, etc. But the usage of the AI, usage, as they call the cases, you know, in the Ayurveda are very few. So he has tried to use AI or the data science in the Ayurveda. He is a computer engineer from Mumbai University and PhD from computer science from IIT Bombay with a specialization in data analysis and machine learning. Received the National Startup Award 2021 in the Ayush category. That is the Government of India initiative, as we all know. A special mention in Man Ki Baat. I mean, that is something great. Not only in Man Ki Baat, but he has been featured in Times of India's, which is also very a great honor. And he was mentioned in Man Ki Baat by Honorable PM Modi ji. Excellence in IT Award by the Ministry of Ayush. DSIR recognition of the in-house R&D of this indigenous value. Special appreciation for Innovation Award 2023 at the 5th Global Ayurveda Festival, DCCIA Conclave Entrepreneur 2024 Award. I mean, the number of awards which I can keep talking about, the time will run out. But because each of these awards are a big recognition, these are not small awards, so to say. These are all very big awards. And then he is being supported by Anand Deshpande, who himself is a big entrepreneur. We all know it is a billion-dollar industry. And before this talk, I was talking to Aniruddha, and he said he is the person who has really motivated him to continue with his journey. I said, yeah, persistence means persistence in this startup journey also. And he had a lot of problems. And COVID time, there were a lot of other problems, but he continued and persisted with this. And today he's going to talk about Nadi Tarangini. Is one of the very few diagnostic systems in Ayurveda. He has got 3 patents and more than 50 papers in international journals and conferences. I don't know what is your age, but having achieved so much at such a young age is something great. And CSR Research Fellow for 5 years. So without much ado, I'll now give the stage to Dr. Aniruddha Joshi to start his talk. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Vilasji, first of all, for inviting me to this particular forum. Extremely happy to be part of it. And thank you, Surendraji, for introducing with such lovely words. Vilasji talked about my father. So my whole journey actually started because of him. When during my engineering days, my father was unwell, and we took this Ayurveda-based treatment from a very renowned Nadi Tagya, Dr. Ashok Bhatt from Pune, Patra Maruti area. And, he diagnosed my father through Nadi Pariksha. And as engineers, we got curious how, just the feeling of the pulse is able to tell us so much information about the illness which he was having. And that's why we got curious, and I started working on this particular area. I took this area as part of my PhD at IIT Bombay. So first of its kind, technology institute having PhD work in the field of Ayurveda, which is still not called as science. So the journey which started as part of different types of trying different types of sensors, getting the right signal, and so on. And now we are at a stage where we got a CDSCO certificate for this particular technology, and the work starts. So let me go through this journey very fast, and happy to interact with you all today and during the various interactive sessions in person, online, in whichever form. So the need which we are solving is the following: that about 70% of people are affected by non-communicable disorders, whether it is diabetes, hormonal disorders, depression, mental disorders, so many of them. And two-thirds of the root causes of for such problems is usually lifestyle. So either sleep is not well, diet is not well. There is so much um, problem going on with respect to diet, music, sleep, and so on. And these actually result into such complications. It's a huge economy right now. Health and wellness is about 6.3 trillion back in 2023. I'm sure it has already become 7 trillion in 2025. But if you see with respect to wellness, all the segments, whether it's real estate or tourism or beauty or physical activity, nutrition, public health, these are all huge, segments. And there is a huge scope of the product which we are developing here uh, across the globe. The problem which we are solving is basically in this particular slide. As I said, on the left-hand side, you can see the root cause, the root of the tree. You can see the root cause of any issue is usually lack of sleep, stress, anger, irregular diet, nutrition problems, and so on, which result into, thyroid, depression, cancer, as I said. And this can be easily found out what is wrong with respect to the personalized balance imbalance kind of system, whether the imbalance is genetic, whether it is physical, mental, psychological, and so on. So that's the problem we are solving through the integration of Ayurveda with the modern technologies. So we know that why this is a personalized approach, because physically we look different from each other. From emotions, mentally, from thought process also, we are very different people. Some people are risk takers, some people are lazy, some are hardworking, some are disabled, and so on. So the approach for each person has to be different. So that is what we are doing. So it's very important that the way my dad got got cured through Ayurveda, and the way many are getting diagnosed, getting treatments, we have to make sure that a good technology based platform is created, so that this particular science, which is not yet deciphered well, which is not yet put into today's language of data, numbers, comparison, reports, and so on. If we can do that, and if we can integrate that with today's modern technologies, I think we will be able to give the best kind of personalized treatment, patient-centric treatment, preventive treatment, and so on. So that is what is we are working on. Very quickly, because the audience may not know a few terminologies which I'm going to talk through my presentation. I'm going to start with the very basic, that every person is a different. Every person's constitution, body type is different. In general, Ayurveda has categorized all people into three categories. Okay, three bold categories. Of course, there are so many subcategories, and that's why it's a very personalized approach. Let's see very simply. For example, if we are going for a movie, or or someone is actually creating this tech forum, finding out who is the right speaker, finding out when to arrange that particular lecture, when to, Vilaji just mentioned about some 5th April, some music program. So how to do that? So someone who is actually making the plan, you can see the category number 2, who is finding out which movie, which, how to drive. Category 1 is talking about, what will happen, and so on. Then third category of people are usually, okay, you all decide, I'll come, and so on, after the movie, the second category is still talking about चलो next क्या करते हैं, movie जाते हैं और एक movie देखते हैं, dinner plan करते हैं, next movie के लिए ये करेंगे. Category 1 is still talking about the award, screenplay. Third category is still relaxing. And if they see an accident, snake, some people will always scream, run away. Some people will actually go and try to solve the problem. And so, oh, there is a snake, oh, there is an accident, and they will keep walking. If there are birthday parties, there will be organized parties. There could be, very simple with friends, family, and so on. And kuch tufani kar de. Some will think, let's go to Tibet and do a camel ride and something like that. So you can imagine all your friends, families into different categories. You can understand that, oh, this particular person usually behaves in this way, and understand that not every person has a typical category. They have different, they switch their roles in presence of different category person. So for example, I may be a category 2 person, but when I do that at my office, I'm a category 2 person. At home, I go to category 3 person, that someone else is making the plans, and I go to category 3, and so on. So the environment makes also change the category, and so on. Typically the categories are called as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. Okay, these are typical categories in Ayurveda. So as I said, we get the Prakriti or body type or constitution as our healthy baseline. That is who typically we are. But based on, our upbringing, friends, families, our stress, our different types of habits, professional life, personal life, where we stayed now, where we have stayed in past, and so on, that Prakriti becomes Vikruti, who we are today. So there is a imbalance between what we are actual, which is our healthy baseline, and what we are today or in general now is called Vikriti. And how much is the imbalance? That imbalance is basically creating different types of issues. So as I said, the bold categories are Vat, Pitta, Kapha. Typically, people are dual, Pitta, Vata, Kapha, Vata, Pitta, Vata, Kapha, Kapha, Pitta, and so on. And there are so many other categories. So there are 20 such parameters, 20 categories. So if you see NPN, there are so many categories, and that's why every person is very different. So that's the knowledge base, 5,000-year knowledge base of, Ayurveda, Nadi Pariksha, which actually talks about how to find out the imbalance. So typical Nadi Pariksha is this. They do using 3 fingertips, Vat, Pitta, Kapha. Vat typical talks about all types of movements throughout our body, whether my hands are moving, respiration is moving, my blood is moving, heart is moving, my thoughts are moving. Pitta is with respect to different types of metabolism, energies inside our body. Kapha is structures, how my body is, lubrication, bone structures, and so on. So typically, I'm talking about very typical. So the input, output, transformation, storage, something coming out of my body, and so on. So you can imagine that using these 3 fingertips, using the pressure at these fingertips on the same artery, we can get so much information about the person. So I'll come back to the actual today's presentation. So this is the device format which we have today. It's called Nadi Tarangidi. It's patented in US, Europe, India, and Indonesia now. Sorry. Hello. Can I continue? All right.
Yeah.
Please continue. Somebody has switched on the.
Okay, all right. So basically, so we use, instead of 3 fingertips, we are using 3 pressure sensors, or of the equivalent pressure sensitivity of fingertips. And we are using at the wrist location where Nadi is sensed. And these 3 pressure sensors pick up the palpitations or the pressure, which is energy, which is available here, and converting into the a nice waveform and so on. So let me quickly show you the demo. So the patient hand, the doctor wears the sensors and keeps the sensors on the patient's wrist, and we collect the data for about a minute. So you can see for the 3 sensors, we get Vata, Pitta, and Kapha graphs, and we collect the data. And once the data is uploaded on the AWS server, our intelligence happens, and you get a report card back. You can compare with respect to what is the average. You get different types of scores, and you can actually talk to the patient. So similar to how a typical ECG machine will work, how a typical blood report comes into allopathy-based system, this is a first of its kind Ayurveda-based report system in Ayurveda. So you get scores. Our app also generates a AI-powered, 15 days plan, 7 days plan, a month plan with respect to diet, music, yoga, exercise, and so on. And of course, there are coaches, there are doctors who can help you with respect to what is needed to take care of yourself. It could be curative, it could be predictive. I mean, if you already have a problem, we give a plan to correct that particular problem. And it could be predictive that I want to increase my stamina, I want to work on my flexibility, I want to work on my acidity and so on. So corrective actions can also be taken. So different types of reports we give for different types of applications with respect to whether that is a very, very complicated Ayurveda-based report or a very simple wellness report or a very simple well-being report. So either the report comes with, Sanskrit words, which Ayurveda doctor can read and talk to the patient, or something with a patient can actually take back with respect to a wellness plan and so on. So right now we are selling to clinics, Garbha Sanskar, yoga, spas, Panchakarma centers, and so on. Very B2B kind of system currently we have, and that's what we have launched. And doctors are using it with respect to increase their number of patients, evidence tracking, doing different patient camps, discussing within their groups, because the methodology of Ayurveda has been more like an art, subjective methodology, in which different Guru Shishya paramparas have their own systems. But now, because of this technology, because of this particular device, a patient management software, they are able to talk to each other, and that's why increase the confidence in themselves as well as the patients. Well, my journey actually, I got very inspired by Steve Jobs. He said that I actually am a software guy. I'm actually a design guy, but I'm very serious about it, and that's why I'm making my own hardware. So even in my case, I think I'm extremely serious about this Ayurveda science, and so I don't want to use the currently available, whether HRV sensors or the rings or the Fitbit sensor and so on, because the nadi is a very sensitive signal, and we have to make sure that it gets captured in the most sophisticated way so that the whole science gets uplifted. Best of best doctors are currently using, they are helping us creating the whole ecosystem. Very happy that Prime Minister Modi ji mentioned about the contribution we are doing with respect to holistic wellness. I'll show you a few results why he mentioned our name. Currently, we are impacting 5,000 people a day, but very soon, I hope we do millions of people a day. So this particular product right now is operational across India at more than 1,300 Ayurveda centers. Doctors are using it. Doctors have bought the system and they are using at their centers. And lots of MOUs with respect to research. I talked about patents. ISO IC is done. Just now, we also got the CDSU approval. So now this very, very much Ayurveda system, which Ayurveda device is medically approved. So now the clinical validations will start very heavily with respect to health. As I said, it's a very unique combination of wellness, Ayurveda, data science, technology, AWS, and so on, and going on. Very happy to say that in this year, the GR was released by the board of NCSM that all colleges should have a digital technology with respect to Nadi Pariksha, so that we all can work on the same technology with respect to standardization, classification, annotation, and so on. There are more than 8 lakh primary healthcare centers across India. Very happy that Modi ji has announced more than 12,500 with respect to Ayush. At 25 of them, we are operational in the Dehradun region, but trying hard to be operational at most of the places. Got a crore grant from Niti Aayog to work on diabetes. The money we have not received yet, but we got the validation that our preliminary results with respect to non-invasive Nadi Pariksha using device can actually find out whether a person is healthy, pre-diabetic, diabetic, and so on. And now this year we are doing almost 10 centers, 7,500 patients, multi-centric, huge work this particular year. The ethics committee is actually in the third week of April. We are working very hard towards creating the protocol and finalizing that. Very happy because of the CDSCO approval. Now our product is also on the government's e-marketplace GEM, so that different government institutes can buy them very easily. Let me go back to technology. What actually we are solving? Okay, so we have seen ECG machines, we have seen pulse oximeters, and so on. So we get different. We already have seen different types of pulse, different types of signals. So from our sensor, we get something like these signals based on nadi. And the problem which we are solving is something like this, that you can see there is a knife and there are different feelings, different touch of that particular knife. And those feelings were termed in the ancient days at Sukshma, Sthula, Sama, Tikshna, and so many. There's hundreds of definitions. And you can see that some of those touch or feeling is also available in this particular different types of signals, whether there's missing things, where additional things, and so it's a very complicated system. And for the first time, we showed that the way we have been taught Ayurveda or Nadi Pariksha, Sarpagati, Mandukagati, Hausagati, just feel the pulse, whether it's moving like a snake, whether it's jumping like a frog, whether it's swimming like a swan, and so on. So instead of that, now we actually have a visualization of a Sarpagati or a Vata signal, how a typical Vata Nadi could be, and so on. When I started my work back in we did lots of experiments, whether Nadi really works, whether this device really works or not. So first our small project we start, whether food works as medicine. So we chose a number of students for a few days. We gave them, the Mastani, a Pune specialty of milkshake with the ice cream. So which increases kaphata in a body. We gave a very specific ginger tea to students. We gave harbara based, lunch to students for several days and so. And we did pre-post analysis of them. And as I told you about the different categories of people, you can see that blue is basically pre and red is post. So you can see the across, I mean, of course, with different types of possibilities and so on. The Vata person's nadi actually expanded, Kapha person's nadi actually contracted, and so on. Or if you see with respect to T, the nadi started vibrating and so on. So basically what happens is that different food have different effects on us and can be captured in nadi, can be captured in tongue, can be captured in various things. We showed that how Surya Namaskar actually increases immunity in our body through, there is something called nadi bala. Bala, we know bala is energy and so on. So every nadi has a different types of energies. So you can imagine, you can feel your pulse. Is my nadi bala enough? Is energy good, bad, and so on? Depending on that, we can take a few decisions. We did different experiments with respect to different panchakarma treatments, how different gunas go down, gunas go up. All the clinics which are collecting data. So we show that the digestive fire in January, in February, across different category of people works like this. So a pitta person will always have a higher digestive fire as compared to kapha, as compared to vata. So we have seen people, they eat less, but they're still of some different characteristics. Some people eat very good, still they have digestive issues. Some people eat very heavily, but have no issues and so on. It's because of the category of the person. Also, you can see the graph that during the monsoon period, everyone's energy is, the digestive energy is slightly low. Maybe the ancient data scientist of that time, Charak Shushruth, saw that, and that's why, Chaturmas came into the picture and so on. Maybe we are still working on this. You can see that during the day, the morning prahar, evening prahar, night, we are a different people, different category, have different digestive fire across the day. Very interestingly, when we plotted the same data with respect to Hindu calendar, taking averages on Prathama, Dvitiya, please understand this is a average of the whole year. We were tracking the whole year. And you can see that during Shukla Paksha, that is first half of the moon cycle, the overall digestive fire is higher. The overall digestive fire in the Krishna Paksha is lower. We sometimes eat pizza in on some weekend we are okay, on some weekend we are not okay, and so on. Maybe it is because of the where the moon is and who am I and so on. If you follow the red line or any line, it goes up, comes down during Ekadashi, up, comes down during Ekadashi. And please understand, this is a very random data coming from all our clinics across the top half, that is Maharashtra to Delhi area. But if we do so now, because we are installing across India at different colleges, we are going to do very systematic data collection where we will actually show why certain days are important with respect to low calorie food, why in during some days you can do something else, during some days you have to take care of yourself, and so on. Different gunas, I will not go into details what are these gunas, but different nadi gunas, you can see that across 12 months, again, they have a very cyclic kind of nature. It is something called as Rutucharya. In every Rutu, in every season, we have to take care of ourselves because we follow certain pattern. Now, this is a very common pattern. There is a very possibility that Vata pattern is different. In Vata, if I'm a Pitta person, my pattern will be slightly different. So if I know me, and if I know me in this particular, right now we are in March, and April, May is going to be hotter and hotter. How to take care of myself in May today can be possible through such graphs. So that is what we are working on, more like a predictive system. Started working on diabetes a while ago, on which we have got the grant, and now we are working. Typically, let me explain what we are doing overall. So Nadi is just one thing. There is something called Ashtavidha Pariksha in Ayurveda. So, non-invasive category of medical devices. That is, you check the pulse, you check the tongue, eyes, urine, shape, skin, voice, and so on. So currently working on six things out of these 8 that, check your tongue every day. And based on the color, based on texture, spots, edges, and so on, whether we can give acidity, whether we can give something with respect to stress, with respect to digestive wear. Good experiments, good outcomes coming out. With respect to face, every face, even if you see a particular face yourself, sometimes you understand this could be a moody person, this could be an angry person, this could be a very happy person, and so on. So every face has a unique features. We are also working on that, whether a face gives unique features with respect to person. Additionally, then there will be tongue, and additionally there will be pulse, and then additionally there will be many more things with respect to this. Different shapes of your hand, of your face, of your body has a lot of information to tell about yourself. There's something called Swanguli Praman. How much is my forehead with respect to how many ungali, or how many finger sizes is my forehead, my nose, my eyes, and so on. And it talks about that person. So once I know about that person, I can talk about how good or bad he is with respect to a particular category of the job profile, and so on. So right from HR to health to performance, this application can go in various direction. So basically, most favorable time for technology in Ayurveda is now. We have to make sure that today's science also makes help of our ancient science, Indian science, what goes inside our body should be known and can be treated. So WHO has come up with sustainable goals of most how to create a sustainable, accessible, affordable system. And I think if we can create a good medical technology, medical device. I just heard that Surendraji is working on creating some Medipark or something like that. So if we can create something which is very integrative, because integrative is the future, wearables is the future, and so on. So if we can combine different aspects of even Ayurveda, either other pathies, technologies, and so on, it will be very good. For a simple different just to understand, we have created a Ayurveda course, Nadi course, so that all people can understand the best of what is overall Ayurveda, what is overall Nadi Parisha, how do you go deeper, and so on. We are giving this free to all colleges and so on, because what we saw as an engineer, I learned Pascal as part of my engineering. When I came out, I had to learn MATLAB, C programming myself and go ahead. So similarly, all curriculums have their own, limitations. So we have created our own Nadi course so that people learn Nadi. Not just people, Ayurvedic doctors also understand more about Nadi course. Best of best people have created the course and so on. uh, just to before I end this particular lecture. So basically, I'm following this particular journey of how a typical ECG signal, which was found well ahead of time, has now in the most sophisticated, form factor. So if you see the 1954 the timeline, the standardization happened when AHA actually installed across the US the same system. Till then, different doctors, different scientists, different companies working on different machines, different form factors, and that's why it was not getting standardized. But after 1954, most of them started working on similar data, and then 1960s, 70s, 90s, all the annotations happened, standardizations happened. HRV came into the most sophisticated way, and of course, then the whole process of classification, predictions, portable systems happened. They came to homes. Now we are wearing different types of wearables. Talk about cardiovascular with respect to iWatch and so on. So we are currently in this particular phase where all colleges are installing. We have got some numbers, some standardization, some annotations, and of course that journey will continue. And we are currently working on a home care. I'll not be able to talk about that today due to lack of time, but maybe some other time, maybe a couple of months down the line, I will come back, talk about how we can do our own Nadi Pariksha at home and take care of ourselves and so on. And eventually, of course, the wearable also will happen, should happen, and we'll see. The whole journey of whether it is modern medicine or Ayurveda starts with respect to disorders from most healthy state to most complicated state. And you can see that modern medicine has a 5-6 steps, Ayurveda also 5-6 steps. And both the sciences claim that the systems are usually predictive. And so we are working in a way that the data collection happens in such a way that if we can create a huge platform based on this data, we can start detecting the issues well ahead of time, more at a aggravation stage or the spread stage and so on, where the cost involved for understanding the issue or taking back to the health state is very low. Otherwise, usually, when things we take care of ourselves, usually when it's more like a early symptom or final stage, when the health issue is very bad and the cost involved is also bad. So it is very important that personalized and predictive system is formed to take care of ourselves. This is a small team. Parag is my friend from IIT Bombay. He came, he joined me about 3 years ago, full time now. We have been friends. We were trekkers together, Marathi Sanskritik Mandal. We were friends there. So he came from electrical background, Marvel, NXP, and so on. He joined full time to take care of the whole technology part now. He's also handling the full office. Tejaswini and Shruti are my domain experts with respect to research, with respect to Ayurveda, with respect to nutrition, and so on. Now the team, we have a team of about 35 people. We just got funded with about $700K dollars. We already got an LOI for the next 3 million round, and we are working very hard with respect to for that particular with respect to that. I'll end with this particular slide that India has exported yoga to the world. Very sadly, yoga was accepted by the Western because they did all the experiments, all the papers, all the research in the West. They accepted yoga, and now it is propagating. So very soon, all those people who are doing yoga right now in the Western world, in India, in next 2 to 5 years, they will move towards Ayurveda in some way, and they will accept Ayurveda only if they see the value in terms of technology, numbers, reports, as I said early. So it is very important that we create and we export Ayurveda as Indians from India based on our Indian science, and create the most best kind of technology. So when I was actually would love to tell a small story. When I was presenting at some conference, and then I met Dr. Valiyathan, Padma Vibhushan scientist, cardiologist actually, and he specifically told me one day that Indians are good at technology, but do not actually create nice looking products. The finest products are not created. So that's why we went to the best of best designers in India. Thankfully, in Pune, Design Directions, Satish sir, and then we got lots of design awards as well for our product. So I'm very happy that he gave me that advice that we should create the best of best form factor as well for the product to present our technologies. So thank you once again for giving me this opportunity to give all information about what we have built so far, where we are heading. So the journey which started with a personal experience, then the sensors. We finalized one sensor when the Vaidyaraj who was guiding me actually saw the signal, just the signals. He did not see the person, and just the looking at the signals, he said that it's a female pulse. It has a lot of complication with respect to gases. Maybe there is a chest pain, and please ask her to do so and so. It was actually like that. That's why I had taken the nadi. So that was more like a eureka point back in 2008-9 when I thought that the sensor is right. Now the whole journey of taking this sensor to the how this computer technologies can be used to what he thought, what he saw, what he felt, to how the reports can be created. I think the journey has started well. 2023-24 has been very kind. The momentum has got very good in 24. This year's plan is basically the diabetes project, getting Nadi at home. So we are creating a home care. Maybe we'll start with the journey of creating a wearable and so on. So we have a small office in Hinjawdi. It's a FDA cleared manufacturing site. It's behind Persistent in phase 1. Please do visit our office when you get time. Thanks again. I think it's 10:40. My time is up. I'm ready to interact with respect to question and answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Aniruddha, for this wonderful presentation and your journey. It's really inspiring. We will open the platform for question and answers. First, identify yourself and then raise your questions. There are some inputs from the chat box also, but those who have put in the chat box can ask questions. So, fire.
Hello.
Doctor,
Go ahead, Vijay. Vinay, go ahead.
Yeah. No, in fact, I had invited Dr. Kavita Indapurkar for this session, and she mentioned that Mr. Joshi has already worked with them earlier while developing this particular product. So
Yes.
she has sent her, she has sent her regards, and of course, what you have done or what you have presented today is really nice, very interesting analysis, and I'm sure that with the support of such scientific analysis, Ayurveda will definitely become a rage all over world. Because we worked with some companies for these Ayurvedic companies, basically manufacturing Ayurvedic medicines for their standard certifications, ISO type of standard certifications.
Yeah.
And their main, what you can say, drawback was that they were not able to standardize the input materials, and at the same time they were not able to convince how that medicine works for a person, and that's how they were not getting, say, international recognition for those medicines. So it's a good thing we have done a good job on this particular aspect of Nadi Pariksha, and I think we wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. So, as you rightly said, as I presented the first slide, the whole health and wellness industry is 6.3 trillion. And if I'm not mistaken, the India Ayurveda business currently is doing about 50 billion. So, there's a huge scope. There is huge, it's a tiny dot in the whole 6.3 trillion. So, it's our responsibility that we create. So we make sure that Ayurveda gets its due recognition in today's. We have to make sure that today's Janta accepts it as a science and integrates in daily life, in pathology labs, in across different colleges, medical systems, hospitals, and so on. But they will accept only if it is validated.
Exactly.
Good papers are published in Lancet, BMJ's, Nature, and so on. So
Exactly.
that's the. Yeah.
Yes, good, good.
Yeah, next question, please.
Hello.
Please go ahead. Identify your name.
Milind Bhide here.
Namaskar.
Yeah, Milind, go ahead.
Do you have a center anywhere in Pune other than Hinjawadi in the city area?
So Hinjawadi is our office, and
Okay.
in Pune, I mean, if you want to I mean, if you want to experience the Nadi Tarangini,
Ah,
different doctors are using it across Pune, across India, across Maharashtra. So if you can tell me which area you live in, I'll guide you to the, or if you are having specific issue or something, I'll guide you where to go and so on.
I'm staying in Narayanpet area and I have specific issues related to the eyes actually.
So let me give my number. You please send me a WhatsApp. This is my
Okay.
number. I've put in the chat.
Okay.
Please send me a WhatsApp. I'll guide you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Next question,
Dr.
please.
Joshi. Yeah, Dr. Joshi, Abhijit Pimple this side. First of all, it was a really amazing presentation. So congratulations for that. And it's a really awesome work that you're doing.
Thank you.
So my question is, how are you looking at this business and how are the Vaidyas looking at this business? So is this a competing product or is it a complementing product? So what is your take on that?
So when I started my journey back in 2017, actually, the Nadi Tarangi product we launched in 2017. At that time, for last several thousands of years or several decades, they are doing Nadi Pariksha in some way, which is a manual way. And similar to how, Flipkart had issues that, everyone were going to actual libraries or bookstalls and they started selling online. So it was a huge time, for them to more like a education shift of mind and so on. So it took time for them to understand that a technology is not a competition. Actually, it actually helps them in their business as well. It helps them understanding the patient more and so on, the way it helps allopathy based doctors. So it took time. Now, because of these results, because of the referrals, mouth publicity, how it is actually helping people, how it is actually helping their business, getting patient confidence, patients are increased and so on. Now it has become slightly, I won't say easy, but it has become slightly acceptable. So the whole journey which started as, why we are doing this, to now they are ready to at least take a demo. Very happy to announce that we sell this particular product around 55,000 rupees, one-time cost. The subscription model did not work in Indian, with respect to Indian doctors. Very happy that every day we are selling at least two of them. So across India, two Ayurveda doctors are purchasing our system. So today we are at a stage that we are operationally break even. We have got some funding for the scale up and new. So as you rightly said, it was tough. It is still tough, but I think maybe 2 years down the line, when more publications, more comparisons, more acceptance from the colleges, Ayurveda colleges, more acceptance from common people, I think then it will be slightly easier, slowly.
Yeah,
Okay, I
thanks so
think
much.
Gopal, Dawar, you want to have some query. Can you read out? I think in the chat box he said something. Vijay Dawar?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go
Okay, so I have basically three questions. If you allow me to send your information to the director of Ayurvedic Center, he's a friend of mine, OBGY in California and one in Arizona.
Yeah, please do that, sir.
And then secondly, do you have anybody doing any clinical trials, FDA approvals in US? Because my son does that. So if you need any help there.
I'll contact you, sir. Definitely.
Okay.
So currently, we are establishing in Europe to start with. The Shruti's photo, which I showed here as part of presentation, she has shifted to Germany because her husband works in Mercedes and he has got transferred to Stuttgart. So we are opening up a company in Germany to do all types of clinical trials and set up a company there to take care of the EU business. But we have got some inquiries from the US, and I'm very happy to talk to you, sir. Definitely, I'll talk to you. I'll take your number from Vilaji, and I'll call you, sir.
Okay, I'm in Pune, so maybe we can meet up soon.
Definitely, happily.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay.
Yeah, we are going to invite Mr. Dawar for our small get together. What I was talking.
Ah.
Yeah. Next question, please. Because there are some inputs in the chat,
Okay.
but yeah,
Okay,
please.
so if nobody else is asking, I will ask again one question. So if I understand correctly, this is about the sensors that you're using. You mentioned pressure or tactile sensors that you've been using. Uh, are you also trying to do something with optical sensors or IR sensors? Does it work for a better response?
Uh, so as so I started with a mic. I did different experiments with optical sensors, different experiments with capacitive sensors, and then these air columns of pressure sensors basically. The pressure range of this particular fingertip, the Vata sensor, Vata fingertip with the fingertip, which is the middle finger, and the ring finger, which is a kapha sensor. The sensitivity of these three sensors itself is different, and this is the highest sensitivity which you can feel here. So I wanted to make sure that the sensor which we use in this particular technology is of this particular sensitivity. So typically it is of the range of 0 to 4 inches of water column, very sensitive. Commercially, of course, we are using 0 to 1 psi, slightly lower sensitivity. But the optical sensors or capacitive pressure sensor, which are very cost effective, fast to find out what is going on in the artery and so on, but the data which we receive from these sensors is not sufficient. One of the slides which I showed, more like pulse oximeter signal, which is tuck 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 and so on. It does not have the in between ups and downs, which talks about the sukshmata or tikshnata of a nadi, which is very essential information to understand what's really going on inside our body with respect to arterial stiffness and many more things and so on. So that's why the today's optical sensor, which is used in either Fitbit or iWatch or different types of rings, Aura rings and so on, they are not yet giving the information which is essential to find out the root cause with respect to digestion, stress and so on. Of course, because millions of users have given billions of data to these companies, still they have not figured out a way. So that's why, Abhijit, we are still working very hard with respect to what we have today. Of course, we can interact more with respect to if we can create. So my current sensor is like a 700 rupees sensor from Honeywell, the air pressure, and I'm using 3. So the sensor cost itself is 2,000 rupees. So if we can come up with a sensor, I'll be very happy to interact more, which um, the whatever sensor we use at this particular location, we have to make sure that it gives the signal which we are receiving today. That's the primary requirement. I hope I have answered your question.
You did. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Abhi.
Yeah, let's have the next question. We can also have interactions apart from questions. Abhijit, would you like to share about our group, medical devices group and the activities?
Yeah, I can do that. So probably you're now aware that we are trying to set up this Medipa. And as you mentioned, the 50 billion market for Ayurveda, and so it is almost equivalent market for the medical equipments itself. So be it electronic equipment or other equipments. And so we are trying to build, and unfortunately, Maharashtra does not have any of these medical parks which are announced and that are working across India. So our idea right now is to create some infrastructure here in India where we can bring everybody, all the stakeholders together at one location. So whether it is manufacturers or their vendors or electronic companies, sensors companies, software companies, so all together they can come together in one area and to have different competence centers, so that the whole ecosystem and the efforts of these ecosystems can be expedited. And if we want to really have an impact globally, so I'm very happy to see that you're planning to go global. So most of the companies in India do not plan to do that. So actually, if you're planning to have a global impact, this is absolutely essential. So we are trying to make our efforts in this direction. This is what we're trying to do.
Excellent. Excellent to know. Would be happy to interact more on that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Amazing.
which is also will be part of our meeting that we are planning. Okay, any more? Mrs. Surendra Agarwal, would you like to say something?
Mr. Vinay Kelkar has mentioned in chat box
Yes.
that Jayashree Election manufacture various sensors in Bosri. Probably you may knowing them. You can
I do not know them, but I have written down the name and I will I'll check it out.
Yeah, I don't think they are making this Honeywell equivalent sensor. But anyway, exploring is no issues.
It can be tried out whether they can develop something specifically for his requirements.
Yeah, definitely. We can share the specs because as he rightly said, the sensor cost is highest in
Yeah.
his bill of material.
So
So
when I
definitely TechForum should support him for cost effective sensors.
Yes.
So when I went to ISC Bangalore, that I need this kind of sensitivity, and please let's work on creating a MEMS technology for this particular thing. They sent me a quotation of 150 crores. So it's a huge responsibility that that eventually we create that and make sure that we export. Yes, Surendra ji. Sorry.
Yeah, then only TechForum can support you because this education industry they don't know and they give you such astronomical figures when you ask them to develop something. So let's forget them as on today. But if somebody comes from our TechForum membership or industry, definitely. But unfortunately, Mr. Bedarkar have not joined. Probably he can take up that as a challenge. But let's hope he gets it. By the way, Bedarkar also will be part of our meeting. What we are planning. Okay, any more queries?
I was suggesting whether Mr. Vishwas Kale can also help in this.
Yeah, Vishwas Rai right now is in Japan. Once he is back, let's see. We'll ask him, definitely. But
Yeah.
I think Vishwas Rai knows Dr. Aniruddha and maybe
Okay.
Aniruddha may be also knowing him. Vijayash Instruments, Pune.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Vishwas knows him. But anyway, once Vishwas is back, we can explore. Any more queries and any more interactions or any comments? Please go ahead. We have still around 7 minutes to go.
तुम्ही ती नियमावली दिली होती ना 13 मिनिट्स 40 मिनिट तुम्ही घाबरून पटकन संपवलं.
नाही ठीक आहे मग इंटरॅक्शनला वेळ मिळतो ना बऱ्यापैकी सो दॅट इज जस्ट इम्पॉर्टंट. आणखी कोणाच्या काही क्वेरीज असतील तर डेफिनेटली वी कॅन इंटरॅक्ट. मिस्टर अगरवाल वुड यू लाईक टू से समथिंग? आय वॉज जस्ट मेन्शनिंग. या प्लीज.
Actually, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Aniruddha Joshi, for your excellent, lecture, the talk about the technology in Ayurveda. Because I, being a technology person, this term has stuck in my mind. This Ayurveda, if it has to really succeed, we have to bring technology into this medicine. It's a great art, it's a great science, but I think that to explore it further and to make it contemporary, we have to talk about the technology. And the data science is the one which will create the doors of Ayurveda. coming to that, when we are talking about Medipark, I was even thinking that the Medipark can be Ayush medical devices. It can be something only dedicated for Ayush medical devices, so that, we really give an impetus, because otherwise everywhere we are talking about medical devices which are, basically for allopathy and all those things. If we talk about a Medipark only devoted to the Ayush devices, Ayush medicines or Ayushpathy, then I think, it can sort of get a better traction of the government, because government is promoting Ayush in a big way. So that was one of my, suggestions, and we'll discuss it when we meet. Abhijit, you might like to think about it. Huh? Then at the end, I'd like to say a small thank you, a big thank you actually, to Dr. Aniruddha Joshi for having come and given a very, very lucid and concise way how Ayurveda can be cured, how Ayurveda can cure our, we are talking about neurological problems, we are talking about cancer, we are talking so many things are basically lifestyle oriented. I totally agree. You know, Yesterday I was looking at a video where they're talking about paneer, artificial paneer being given in the McDonald's, Pizza Huts, etc., etc. This is the cause of a cancer. This is lifestyle. I mean, we have to change our lifestyle. I'm not calling aspersions on anybody, but what I'm saying is that lifestyle has got to do a lot with the new diseases which are coming up. Cancer is just spreading like hell, the way it is spreading. Neurological disorders are spreading. Diabetes and hypertension were there, but these are two new things which are come into the picture. And we are talking about a 6.3 trillion economy of medical treatment, and Ayurveda is only 50 billion. I think our aim should be making it about 1 trillion, and we should spread all over the world like yoga. I think the next wave should be Ayurveda, as you have rightly said. And today it was, I also came to know about what is Vat, Pit, and Kaph. I have been hearing it about for a long time, but it was not settling in my mind, and how the Prakriti can become Vikriti. I mean, this is something very correct. So, in the end, I'll just say thank you so much for your nice exposition of the Ayurveda and technology in Ayurveda, and let's take it forward. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Mr. Agarwal. Thank you very much for summing up Dr. Aniruddha's talk. It was really wonderful and
Yeah.
eye-opening. As Aniruddha and you rightly said, that after yoga, this Ayurveda is going to lead the world, and
Yes.
I'm sure it will happen. It's not a dream; it is going to happen.
Yeah.
On behalf of Tech Forum, I thank Aniruddha, Dr. Aniruddha, for this wonderful presentation. And now, Dr. Aniruddha is member of our Tech Forum. I'm happy to welcome him. 12th April is the day where we will be celebrating on our 101st lecture by Gautam More on Ayurveda device, wherever device he is making, and it will be at Institution of Engineers in the evening. So I request everyone to keep 12th April evening free